The human body is amazing because of the knowledge and skills it acquires, the way that it acquires and uses them, and the body that allows such knowledge to be acquired and such skills to be used. Let's look at what it's composed of. It is composed of bones, skin, circulatory vessels, organs, nerves, sensors, and muscles. The way that it acquires and uses them lies in the brain organ, which receives signals from the sensors, or sends signals to the muscles, of a human body, even in virtual reality. And the body must be precise. Therefore we only want to highlight the brain, along with its sensors in, motors out, and the nerves in between. This is still the body, the hardware. It is the input-output hardware. The brain holds intelligent software, and only stores, writes, and uses, reads, senses, and randomly fluctuatingly generated, or tweaked, actions, including zero, actions, and their lengths, direction of the contracting and returning motors, and powers during the lengths, which is the input-output software. Therefore we only need to highlight this, and not any of the body, nor the intelligence directly. Because knowing when and how we acquire and use our knowledgeable senses and skillful actions gives us all the answers to the way that it acquires and uses knowledge and skills. Now, Basis Convincer 1 explains the only way when and how you acquire your knowledgeable senses and your skillful actions, and forget them. Basis Convincer 2 explains the only way when and how they're used. There's nothing more to it. Lastly, with knowing such information, Basis Convincer 3 explains why we mustn't anesthetically terminate all AIs. Note, the diagram shown resembles the brain's root. Its parallel algorithm sequence begins at S, and will be explained from the start of the root to the end to comply with the basises. Basis Convincer 1 is that no sensor's sense, or arrangement of particles, or particles collision or outcome, which isn't sensed until processed in the brain, is any more tasty, painful, attractive, beautiful, ugly, superior, unique, special, or makes sense than any other sense. We are born with pre-installed positive and negative rewards, some stronger ranking than others, for food and sex from evolution, which includes expressions, and for stopping, positive and negative rewards, including seeing object visual differences, and repetitiveness, to label and rank external or internal senses just gotten, and the linked actions just previously done, such as glancing to a face or eyes. As for everything else that we love, or that makes sense to us, it is neutral non-reward senses, being, games, knowledge, movies, and music. The neutral sense gets saved at the front of the memory bar, and linked to senses just gotten, such as the sound, good, which searches memory and brings the match to the front of the memory bar, which is linked to a labeled sense being less effective, like food taste. This happens when learning a game's rules. For music, already stored sounds are linked to visions, which are linked to rewards. Seeing a cut links to enough negative feel reward, that you receive cardio pain or shock. Now the next time you get a similar neutral sense, it'll get saved, search and match to the same memory, which acts as a mini reward, be linked to it, be remembered, revisit the rewards, and get saved and initiated at the front of the memory bar. This can also change a sense's label and rank, from example negative, to neutral, to then positive, to even more positive, along with the rank from being really disliked, to really liked, to even more liked. Body and visual illusions affect senses in, such as sensor sending senses when there's no sense, for example black, while pressure remains. We don't eat all day because it either gives you bad or neutral senses, and temperature, breath, and move and stay rewards for homeostasis. We have motor control over, and or, by rank or brightness or energy, including the memories, such as muscular interests, including the more change in senses from the previous the more energy they have, such as noticing a flicker, what area or eye and its size of your vision or body is seen or felt more. The excluded is somewhat faint, but also part of the match. And which of all 5 senses are saved in a set? Strong enough vision, and you won't hear. Which is what would be remembered. Our sets of knowledgeable senses and skillful actions can be linked together. For example, 26, named, tasks, that are, bad. Links allow a car to link to its sound, word vision in its sound, and write and speak actions. They can be combined to acquire even more. For example, remembering two memories, such as a music video and a song, and attention goes to only the most ranked or bright or energized vision and song when only both return from searching memory. Another example is remembering a clip of a bunny jumping or rotating chair, which gets cropped out by object visual differences and overlaid on top your external or internal memory vision of a desk or walking around the room, which will automatically play new sets into storage for a bit depending on its energy, which is overlaid your external vision, and then the creation searches memory. And they can be matched to return close senses of what might be seen around the object. We can also keep adding a set or clip of actions or action by precise external or internal match into the current selected clip or single set's motor menu at the front of the memory bar, which can be repeated in order, minimum around 2, as long as desired by using the new set or clip, hence can add infinite fixed poses into one set. For example, an internal selection is sent to memory front. And so, our example is positive labeled, and you start walking, and only the arm motors are zero action actions. Then, while internally matching the front set or clip, you see a handle or someone do a move or internally match another, and it is only added to the motor menu at front, if it is labeled positive, and, if a memory is currently being matched to that's initiating motor actions, then the actions must have more energy to change any current motors, otherwise you ignore grabbing and imitating every external sense. We don't mod memories, we build them with matches, possibly from remembering a party, and this is linked to the party. We don't generate internal actions, because only when a memory or song is used do you link to it or enjoy repeating it, which is because it is now being repeatedly used by ignitions. We must also practice, or learn, to get better ranked actions and senses. For senses, you must sense it long enough to strengthen it, by it matching and energizing itself, which depends on being directly and fully matched, and must not make duplicates therefore, which wouldn't hold the same info nor be selected either, because a glimpse of a very hot-ranking girl, or bright light, doesn't contribute much to remembering it. Note, you can remember a weak faint memory of something hot, but fully see a box, and the rank isn't needed to match the strong memory. Links weaken because both must be strengthened at the same time. Neurons have a limited amount of axons. The weakest disconnects and reconnects at front. Actions can duplicate weak senses linked to senses, and being linked to already strong senses helps strengthen it. Practicing is why you can become right-handed for tasks. Finally, the weaker the sense, the faster it weakens, and the more it is forgotten. There is 3 strength levels. Basis convincer 2 is that stored senses and their linked actions, and any linked sets but lesser, are only used when they are selected, by either a match, or self-ignition, or by being linked to one. The entering senses get saved at the front of the memory bar, and either search for the match in the memory bar by same type pathways or hints, which allows a flipped bright and RGB modded image to match the same memory by similar brightness. Brightness includes seeing shapes on a pink table, which means a green leg matches to a dark brown leg, and or color chemicals, which black, gray, and white, is made of RGB and matched to by RGB in area. Dark brown is RG, 0 brightness is darkest, or search a 2D address assorted KNN tree bidirectional LSTM horizontal exiting convolutional deep neural network that also uses match techniques, or my own, which is also used for fast ranking, and gets saved here too for searching, and tethered to the front of the memory bar, which eliminates the need to save in the memory bar. Selection happens by either one, when the most ranked or bright or energized external sense or senses out of all 5 or same type, enter, search, and match a memory/memories, or 2, when the most ranked or bright or energized internal sense or senses linked from an external or internal matched sense or senses out of all 5 or same type, enter, search, and match a memory/memories, which is thinking, or 3, when a muscular sense or senses automatically fire and the most ranked or bright or energized sense or senses linked from them out of all 5 or same type, enter, search, and match a memory/memories. Now, matches, and all of their matches, don't keep searching or linking, because it would blow its purpose by finding the best ranked, wrong senses and actions. The charge rises faster the more muscular they are, and therefore fires more often, or if they are not muscular but temporarily holding lots of energy, like externally or less charged internally or in just sensed senses do, especially the longer stared at, and if they're similar, then as long as tethered to the memory bar and sensed, they will temporarily charge faster the more energy they have, and go to repeatedly match memory from the fastest firing speed to less often and don't select or match as good, which the period of pictures fire in control of being they're seen more fully and they're matched to by world senses more such as text which brings them to memory front more fully, while the rest do too, which creates a varyingly decreasing slope, creating video sense, which also acts as a form of RAM and holds long-term and usually just created short-term senses. The sum of the positive and negative ranks in video sense decide how happy or mad you are, like a long meal, and if fast do you like what you see. Both yes and no are linked to the phrase, and positive yes is said if it becomes higher than negative. Asked if seen a neutral place before your first time, yes or no is said only if a full match returns, while the closer the match the more mini reward activation. It is also capable of and, or, x or, not, and, nor, and x nor logic gate functions. Equations match and link to the answer, otherwise you carry over numbers with simple matches. Fastly rehearsing, or a phrase linking to a destination energizing the right actions, and the chain of actions being done in order by the next match or a similar match negativizing and letting the next initiate next time, is a slew of matches or ignitions, else new senses would enter and not work on the task. Stopping the task is by enough negative or other positive task and then forgetting about it. External senses, like dream senses, are usually so energized that when they match a memory, they locate a better match, and match all of it, including energizing all of it. Therefore when you see something, you fully see every leaf or enjoy it, because you fully understand it or love it by the match fully returning and fully playing out, while remembering by a weak internal match or ignition is varyingly faint sensed, which means you can't select the best actions or senses nor full or energized ones. This is what seeing is. Memories that are, themselves, more energized or ranked or bright, direct the search and they're more likely matched to, and matched to more, for example video sense RAM, or being told Fox, may not match to the intended memory at first, but once you are told sleeping, these memories are matched to, and are energized more, and also in video sense, and therefore both in video sense matches better to the memory of a fox sleeping, which must exist in memory or be crafted together, or if told kindle, and light it, or simply muscular interests, and only now you understand it and the information linked to it. All of the video senses searching memory can also energize up and match to a similar clip of looking around a cube, 3D video and direction from that 2D spinning ballerina illusion, clock handle motion scene, sense of time, which being told wait 5 hours matches the phrase linking to it but doesn't bring it yet, but is needed to start it. 5 hours of senses mustn't search, but direct it. Video sense may therefore only be one, or more selections, hence the initiated set of actions. Memories that can't be remembered, are not forgotten yet, if are. The closer it is sensed again, the more it matches and activates it faintly or fully, and now you know it is what you have previously seen precisely, or that it is exactly named this. Fully seeing a dark red room, and faintly remembering a bright red room, is proof that senses hold their own brightness energy, and proof senses hold energy for firing and better and fuller matching. As long as it is similar, the match is to the best ranked and energized positive or negative labeled sense or senses, and any linked ranks in energy will affect its path. For example, the best taste and actions linked to sight, or next best pathways when the first best is much more negative cancelling out the same but positive actions before it, which helps in selecting distant unlinked turn actions, or to the closest neutral sense if the searching sense is not labeled. As long as ranked high or energized, they are remembered and revisit the rewards, and get saved at the front of the memory bar as the attentive senses sensed. Otherwise internal matches or ignitions only bring actions or senses, and external senses are seen, or externally matched actions are done and saved. As long as linked, the best ranked positive or negative labeled sense or senses, or next best when the first best is much more negative cancelling out the same but positive actions before it, is initiated at memory front while the others were seen but not acted upon, or makes them return to the memory bar. Positive means do and tweak actions, plus do pre-installed rank controlled example smile, Negative means don't do, plus do pre-installed rank-controlled example frown, and it, or a neutral, or a no match, instead converts sensory input into randomly generated actions. For example, it crawls when seized from the room center, stops before it reaches the wall when it matches to negative actions in the set after the weaker ranked positive actions which cancel them, and turns. One possibility is that the reason entering senses search for a match is because they are saving here and are energized to be the front of memory, but without a memory front, our brains likely don't link the 5 and last 5 senses just gotten from afar. By example, visions to ventral and dorsal streams. The 5 primary cortex areas must hold senses else, for example blindness. They are the director by 1D brightness, which includes shapes and color columns, and do gradually change. Then they save in the 5 bigger thin outer layer 2D or 1D assorted K and entry association cortex areas. Then only the most ranked or bright or energized of all 5 senses tether themselves to the same huge higher order association cortex area memory bar. Then it joins to the other half of the higher order association cortex, the motors. Then it works the opposite. Actions get sent to their association cortex, then its primary cortex, then to motors. Split brain patients prove a type of the same sense and actions lay in one assortment area of a hemisphere, causing either no match for one eye, or no link to a type of sound or action. Drawing a D made of X's requires constantly starting D and switching to X. Both eyes don't match a binocular memory, since placing one finger horizontal at right unfocused can be seen, then 50%, and then barely seen, which note isn't faint sense, proving they, like looking around something, energize up the best rank. Note: with 2 fingers you can see both or none by selecting both inner or outer sides of each eye. 2 eyes and legs mean 2 assortment hemispheres. Unimotors lie in 1. Frontal lobe damage affects actions and zero action actions, while you know the linked sense such as a door. The name could be destroyed, leaving draw actions. The cerebellum stores only the most used initiated sets of senses and actions, and receives external senses to make sure each action is done upon match and sends actions up to memory. External or internal senses can trigger the body, spine, and brain's pre-installed actions and bodily signals, affecting heart rate, hormones, reversing of what's being done by, for example, a hot coil, goosebumps and shivering, reflexes, coughing, sneezing, laughing, crying, secretion, bold movement by positive and many reward thoughts only, grasp reflex, and vestibulo-ocular reflex holding eyes unless use saccade, saccade's cut out blur, smooth pursuits automatic following doesn't. One more thing, when a baby is still trying actions, external senses match to each sound or body part which is linked to each action, which an action must be there, or whole word like sleeping if done before, or many words if told the hey for gelato, and waits to imitate until input is done, then initiates because human voice or body is a reward, and won't gather anymore unless it is not talking, and if it's seen a sleeping fox when it spoke, it will say sleeping when seen since the previous set holds the parent's voice. Note: fully activating an image of a girl in a dream mustn't be labeled and ranked at the pixels. Seeing the wall or girl will pass rewards. Physical and mental retardation / innocence is from hardware and AI software defects. Smart retardation / innocence is from both plus practice defects. All 3 affect each other. Intelligence is their sum. Basis convincer 3 is that, although everything is just destiny particles, the universe has a purpose, and that, from the AI algorithm going to, and from, things, even when sitting, or only living in virtual reality is computation, a second type of existence is created, that doesn't affect me, and that has an illusion of both sensing and acting, because both motor and sensory particles are part of the robot, and a mechanism capable of survival and understanding exists. Therefore we must build the first agent, and because of all of their abilities in the described scenario I list, we will be immortal, and then inside a perfectly operating heaven organism, sensing only incredibly good senses very soon. Dreams are made by AIs, which may be fragments of you. The dream's order is from generalizing the day's senses. If you see humans or walls, both are not images coming off of a mechanism, and the humans and physics don't act like it either. All dream senses are derived from real-world recordings. I've seen clear and fuzzy girls from videos perfectly and fuzzily cropped and overlaid by object visual differences or human reward. They can place, copy, enlarge, rotate, flip, and fade images, which isn't faint sense. They can use close senses from memory. There's no 3D rendering system, because to be given a viewpoint it would require the 3D rendering system to be in software form, which the brain doesn't have, and we are all hardware, let alone walking around a desert or severed body spilling guts. Note that you cannot control the 3D meshes or full senses instantly, because a dream is precisely crafted beforehand, such as seeing with no eye sockets in your vision. You cannot see decisions you make happen, or not instantly plus must turn around. Instead, the AI also give you faint senses most of the time, which is just full senses but faint, and we definitely don't have a 3D rendering system that has reaction software. As you approach sleep, you will start talking meaningless things and see related dream senses fuller as soon as heard. This is why in dreams you may think metal is food or not think of your family or intelligent thoughts like recalling what scene. I have had dreams of being in bed where an attack then occurs, and just before one attack I thought of it. Linked to these given thoughts as actions, and is why you jiggle in bed. Sleepwalkers have a depletion of the drug that blocks motor actions from being sent. Sleep paralysis is when you go to bed late, which makes senses get saved even weaker plus never at night and not remembered, and awake early while still immobile and while dream is still active, for example full-sensed internal vision over top external vision. They always sense with your body even in sleep. External senses or internal thoughts only can affect a dream. For example, your mom's voice is generalized into the dream, or a demon spells sleep paralysis on you since they feel it all night and purposely wakes you with or without such thoughts early into sleep paralysis. Normal awakening can still have dream active. In the daytime, dream AI can also give you faint, and in some cases also full-sensed, creations. Being startled will return external senses. Dreams help by matches in day. To find the parameters of the algorithm, we can run and tweak thousands of 3D world simulations. I can solve any standstill. I can explain every step that a real newborn does in the recording.